Thank you very much for staying with us. The details of our stories now starting from the labor front, and government is expected to meet with organized labor later today to discuss concerns raised over the recent utility price hikes. The Public Utilities Regulatory Commission (PURC) announced an increase of 59.2% in water and 62.7% for electricity. The government's team is expected to dialogue with the Ghana Employers Association, the Association of Ghana Industries, and the Trades Union Congress. The meeting will explore ways of cushioning workers against the shocks of the adjustment. And joining us on the line to put this issue in proper perspective is a labor expert, Kofi Davo. Good afternoon, sir. Thank you very much for your time.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Very well, thank you, and a happy new year to you.
Happy new year to you.
Okay, to start with, we are told that, it's not that we know that the members of organized labor are part of the PURC board. Now, they sit through various meetings, they agree on the amount proposed for tariff increment, and then later their bigger membership say they are not willing to pay. Can you say that there is an act of double standards here?
Yes and no. As a member a former member of the TUC, I have an idea how the system works. I mean, there is that understanding among the leadership of the TUC that, in spite of the fact that the TUC has a representation on the board of PURC, its decisions may not be binding on organized labor. I mean, they argue that sometimes the representative of organized labor may not agree with the decision of the board, but because the issue at stake, the conclusions arrived at on the basis of how many of the representatives vote for it, it might be helpless when some of these decisions are being made. So the decisions are not bound to the TUC, and they may not agree with the decision of the PURC. I really may not see it as double standards in its true sense, because once a decision is made, the larger forum of the TUC would have to meet and make an assessment of it and agree whether it is fair or unfair. And I think on this occasion, that is what they have done, based on the fact that taking into consideration the overall cost of living, organized labor thinks that the hikes are too high.
How much power does organized labor wield in changing the decision?
Well, organized labor, in my view, it's a very important stakeholder within the national economy. Remember that we are talking about group of workers, thousands of workers who have come together to form organized labor. So you cannot take them for granted when they raise issue against some policy decisions of the state. You need to give them a hearing. You need to engage them and to explain why a particular decision has been made. So yes, they would a lot of influence. They would a lot of power. And let me say that it is one single most important organization that cuts across gender, religion, political party, and everything. So you can imagine the diverse opinion that you can find in organized labor. So when they take a position, if you're in government, you need to take it seriously, engage them in some dialogue to arrive at some conclusions.
What are your expectations from the meeting?
I am expecting that. I expect the parties to be very open and blunt about the discussions. The point being made, I've heard some of them speak, is that you cannot take the price of utilities in isolation and decide whether it is fair or not. You need to put it together and look at the overall cost of living. Their argument is that in the light of these increases, the cost of living, which is already very high, is going to worsen, and that is what they want government to take a look at. Government generally over the years has been very open in this discussion, and sometimes some fallback positions have been taken and some compromises have been arrived at.
Okay, so certainly we do not expect any fallout from that meeting which will be detrimental to the labor force.
Well, it has to be a give and take. I don't expect the organized labor to get everything they have asked for. I certainly am expecting that some concessions will be made, that will arrive, some consensus will arrive at. Certainly they will not get everything that they have asked for, but I'm expecting that they will get something out of this meeting.
Over the years, we've had to, Public Utility Regulatory Commission, the PURC, and other institutions that either tax or ask for tariff increases have staggered the implementation or the execution of how much they ask. And we seem to always ask for, a slow nature of releasing these taxes on the populace. Do you think that, are we not hurting ourselves the more in allowing this decision to stagger the amount to stay?
You see, if that's my own opinion, and this is purely an individual opinion, I agree to the principle that we must pay for the cost of utilities. But again, the flip side also is to situate any one increase within the overall level of cost of living in the country. If you increase the price of one single commodity by about more than 20, 30, 40, 50%, the kind of shock that people receive as a result of the increases is something that any decision-making body would have to take a look at. I think that the argument is that why would you not use a gradualist approach in the increases? Why would we wait for so many months and so many years, for example, before we do one increase that sends shocks to consumers? I think that's where the problem is. And one-off increase of 60-something% is certainly, in spite of the sense that it makes, it's certainly going to create problems for consumers. And I think that's the point that we are making. That yes, we must increase, we must pay the price of utilities, but it has to be increased in such a way that it does not become unbearable. And I think that's the point that I want to make, and an advice I want to give to the decision makers.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Kofi Davo, for your insights on this story. We are keeping an eye on that development where we are told government and organized labor are yet to meet, and the outcome of that meeting we certainly would make available to you, our cherished viewer. Kofi Davo is a labor expert and was sharing his views on it.